Joining us now from the Heidelberg Project in Detroit is the president and CEO of the organization, Jenenne Whitfield. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, pleasure having you on the program. For those that may not be familiar with the work that the Heidelberg Project does in Detroit, tell us about the organization, kind of its origin story, and the work that it's currently doing now in Detroit.
Well, the Heidelberg Project is an outdoor community art environment, one of a kind, located in the heart of an East Side neighborhood in Detroit. The way I describe the Heidelberg Project is imagine turning down a city block and all of a sudden the street explodes with color, with found object art created in various vacant lots throughout the city block, and a few houses that are wildly decorated. For example, we have one known as the Polka Dot House or the Dottie Waddy House. We have another one known as the Number House, and then we have several smaller houses, like there's the Dog House, there's the Cathedral. And the idea really is to use art as a catalyst to bring hope, attention, and new economic vitality into a community. So that's what you would see when you enter Heidelberg Street. And as you continue to drive down the street, you're going to be introduced to our campus. We call it our campus, where it's our headquarters, and an artist guest house where we do exhibitions and where our staff resides. And I think the Heidelberg Project in Detroit is indicative of what Detroiters do, and that's innovate. And so you won't find anything like the Heidelberg Project in any other part of the country or the world. We are actively engaged in art and education. So we have programs in K through 12 schools. And we also have an artist in residency program where artists contribute to the natural site itself, but they also contribute to or contribute by through exhibitions within our indoor space. So yeah, that's the Heidelberg Project pretty much in a nutshell.
More information on the website, heidelberg.org. That is heidelberg.org. And they are also one of nearly 300 charities and nonprofits in the Metro Detroit area and in the city of Detroit that are supported by Share Detroit, that platform online, sharedetroit.org, sharedetroit.org, or heidelberg.org for more information on the Heidelberg Project. We're joined by President and CEO Jenenne Whitfield with us on the Michigan Megacast. And so where did this idea come from? Where did this concept, this project, and this city block that is being used as an art piece, as a visual medium, and as an outlet for Detroit to give its art identity a vision in the city and also to the greater world? Where did that vision come from? Where did this project begin? And really, why was this started?
Well, the Heidelberg Project is the brainchild of artist and founder Tyree Guyton, who actually grew up on Heidelberg Street. That Dottie Waddy House, for example, has been in his family since 1947. And let me just throw in this little fact, too. Very few people know this, but former White House correspondent Helen Thomas actually lived on Heidelberg Street. And the area and the community itself is rich. It's rich in that there's been several cultures that have inhabited this older East Side area of Detroit. So, you know, the street name is named after, or the organization is named after the street, which is the Heidelberg Project on Heidelberg Street. And of course, that's a German name. But it is the brainchild of Tyree, who grew up on that street. And it's a real definition, I think, of community engagement, because there is no greater example of authentic community engagement than a man who was born and raised in that neighborhood on that street and continues to impact the community with art and installation. So that is how it started. And the way the artist describes it is that he looked outside his home 35 years ago and he saw blight. And blight had become a way of life for the people in the community. And he wanted to change that. And the way in which he went about doing that was the only way he knew how, which was through a paintbrush or with a paintbrush. And one house became two, and before you knew it, the street had exploded with a cacophony of color and art installations, but all made from found materials. And that's significant because what it demonstrates is that many times our communities can be discarded and people can be discarded. So the artist is picking up these things that have been discarded, dusting them off, adding color, and then you have this wonderful explosion.
We're joined by Jenenne Whitfield, the president and CEO of the Heidelberg Project, joining us on the Michigan MegaCast. Learn more information on their website, Heidelberg.org. They have a number of different ways that you can get involved and a number of different programs also, including the Heidelberg Arts Leadership Academy that really focuses on engaging youth in the city of Detroit and giving them an extracurricular opportunity that engages them in their education, engages them in their city, in their home, and also engages their mind and lets them develop not only their identity, but the identity of Detroit as well over time. Tell us about this Leadership Academy and the kind of different programs that are available through this that enrich the lives of kids in Detroit.
Well, we've had programs, art programs for children from the very beginning of the Heidelberg Project, and it's interesting to see how many of those kids are now in their 30s. But currently, our Heidelberg Arts and Leadership Academy works with K through 12, but primarily we work with middle school and mostly high school students. And the idea is to expose children. Well, first of all, let me just take a step back and say, one statistic that we're not really, we don't really think about is the lack of preparation when kids graduate high school and they go to college. It's like a shock, and it's like a great gulf in between those two things. So one of the programs that we're doing is career preparation, and we're exposing children or young people to ideas of careers in many fields, and not all of those fields mean they have to go to college. Of course, we encourage that, but there's also different trades and different things like that. So what we do is we expose them to various people that are working in various fields of the art, in addition to the art and creativity on Heidelberg Street. And then we try to match them up with an individual that's working in that particular field and give them some exposure and real life experience. So they do internships in addition to their learning with the Heidelberg Project. It's a little tough right now because of the pandemic in school, but I think that what we're experiencing and having the kids come to our headquarters and working with a smaller number, but we're still having a great impact. We've impacted over, 300, 700, 1,000 kids probably by now.
And not only are you engaging these kids through these programs directly, but also through the classroom. What sort of options are available for educators to include the Heidelberg Project in their curriculum and help engage students in the classroom as well?
Well, first of all, we have a wonderful children's book that we wrote, and there's two children's books: Magic Trash, which is amazingly and wildly popular. And then here at Nut Yug, which is actually Tyree Guyton's name, Scrambled, and it is his alter ego. It's a true story of him when he was a kid at about 12 years old. So these books are online and available. And we also have an educator's kit online where teachers can, download materials and share our work and what we have done and integrate it into their curriculum, which is also amazing. I mean, I'm talking about we have tapped into schools around the world, not just around the country. And these are the tools that we try to equip teachers with so that they can develop their own curriculums, and many of them have. It's really, it's exciting that there's so much learning to be done, and not just on the K through 12 level, also on the collegiate level. We have taught different aspects or perspectives of our work, the Heidelberg Project, which again is an original to Detroit. And so art is a social practice, and the whole concept behind creative placemaking, all of that is coming through the Heidelberg Project after 35 years.
We're joined by Jenenne Whitfield, the president and CEO of the Heidelberg Project. They share Detroit-supported charity and nonprofit. Joining us on the MegaCast. More information in a couple of places. ShareDetroit.org is where you can go to find a lot of information on the organization and direct ways that you can help them at this time, and also learn more about their programs and help them and get involved as well by going to their website, Heidelberg.org. We're joined by Jenenne Whitfield, the president and CEO of the Heidelberg Project on the Michigan MegaCast. So tell us about Heidelberg 3.0 and how people can support the efforts as your organization continues to develop over time, supporting financially, but also through volunteerism and other ways.
Yeah, so, it's funny. People think we're a lot bigger in terms of our internal staff than we are. We're 6 staff, but we have a host of volunteers and supporters that help us accomplish a lot of the work that we do. The concept behind Heidelberg 3.0 really is very simple. It is the transformation of an arts installation created by one man into an arts community that is activated by many. So when you think about it in general, you're really talking about how the Heidelberg Project is now starting to transition into a real arts community, not just being in a community, but also impacted by artists. For example, we have one of our most recent artists in residence is a woman who wraps trees, and it's just so beautiful. The residents and the way in which artists are integrated into the Heidelberg Project has to make sense. It has to be a contribution. And as they're contributing, they're also engaging with the community, learning from the community, giving to the community. So you can go to Heidelberg and see art installations now created by different artists. So we are, in fact, in that process of engaging with a different artist. I'm sorry, my phone's ringing.
That's
I gotta
okay.
turn it over.
But all that information is on their website at heidelberg.org if you'd like to learn more information. Please continue.
So the idea is that you can see installations now on the site that are created by more than just Tyree Guide. And that's the way we want it. We had to fight for this, though. And I want to say that true innovation takes time. And so this whole idea of now Tyree decreasing as more artists are increasing is also timely because the artist is getting older, right? But then so he's looking and facing his own mortality and looking at how he's going to pass the baton. But I think the greatest piece that helps define Heidelberg 3.0 is if you know our history, we have had to fight for this organization. We have been twice destroyed by our own city in 91 and again in 99, and then we suffered 12 fires. So the idea of becoming part of Detroit's cultural fabric came in November of 2021 when the city of Detroit, after all these years, recognized the Heidelberg Project as part of the cultural fabric of the city of Detroit. So to me, that's another great indicator how 3.0 can really start to take off now. And obviously, we want to build more. We want to bring in more artists, but we also need to build our staff. So, financial support is really critical to our growth at this particular time. But that is how 3.0 is defined, is really now moving away from the vision, never really moving away, acknowledging, respecting it, but also gifting it to the community and letting it really become this community anchor.
Jenenne, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.